Hey guys, welcome back to the Movie Geek Production channel. My name is Bernard Nettles. In this video, I'm going to share some of my favorite film noir. Before I share some of the titles, I'm going to let you know that I'm now well versed into the film noir world. There are some titles I really want to check out, like Lady from Shanghai, Touches Evil. There's other film noir films that I have not seen that I really want to check out. Some of the the best, if you will. But there's some titles here that I have seen that are film noir that I would like to share that are some of my favorites. So I don't have a very definitive list of film noir movies, but these are some of the film noir that I actually liked, and I want to share some of my thoughts on it. So yeah, let's get right into it. The Big Clock, starring the wonderful Ray Milland and the wonderful and brilliant Charles Laughton. This is great. Not a lot of people talk about this movie, so it's basically a hidden gem, or an underrated film noir. A film that's engaged me throughout the runtime. I really enjoyed this just because of the story that it was told. It's a very exciting story that kept me interested throughout the runtime. I love the performances by Charles Laughton in this. It's really great, a very intimidating performance by Charles Laughton, like I said. A great actor. We all know who Charles Laughton is. He's always great in every film that I watch that's starred by him. And I really enjoyed it. You can get this in the Arrow Academy Blu-ray release. But it's a really fun movie nonetheless. A really great film noir. Sunset Boulevard, directed by Billy Wilder, the brilliant filmmaker Billy Wilder. This is fantastic. We all know what this film is, and we all know that what already has been said about this film is a masterpiece. Brilliant directed by Billy Wilder, brilliant performed. The performance is worth every price of admission going in watching this movie. It's powerful, intriguing, and just really attention-grabbing movie. As soon the opening starts, there's a hook. The hook gets me, and it's just you just want to know what's happening throughout the story. You just want to see how it played out. It's just brilliant, and the performances, like I said, it's just mesmerizing. That's all I can say. It's actually a perfect word to describe Sunset Boulevard. Is mesmerizing. It is just simply mesmerizing because of the performances that's just brilliantly played by all the cast throughout the whole film. And there's some story element that's unraveled that just shocked me. And generally just surprised me because it tells a really intriguing story about a screenwriter who goes to a very old, faded silent film star that nobody recognized, that her fame is gone away, but she thinks that she's still popular, but she is not. And there's the dual identity problem, the ego in her, that throughout the whole movie is just so mesmerizing to watch how she portrayed. And it's an incredible story. It's just an incredible story that's just is so well done. I have nothing to I could not explain it because I suck at explaining things and what I'm trying to say. It's just the way Billy Wilder directed this film. It's just every scene, every moment felt right and felt perfect in the place that it. Sunset Boulevard is great. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a simple story. About the screenwriter who have an assignment basically and go to a mansion that's very empty, and he's just trying to write a screenplay, and all she wants is to return to acting because she hasn't acted for years. It's just something about the story, so simple but yet so engaging and so thrilling to watch. Well, not thrilling in a sense, but an eye opener, if you will. It had my eyes wide open from the beginning of the movie all the way to the end. It's just everything about this movie is so well done, but the one thing that's worth watching about Sunset Boulevard is the performances. Strangers on a Train, directed by the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, and I consider this an underrated Alfred Hitchcock movie. Obviously, we all know some of the Alfred Hitchcock films that are considered iconic, like Psycho, Rear Window, Vertigo, The Birds, and the list goes on and on and on. But those films overshadowed by Stranger on a Train because this is a really great hidden gem of a film that nobody talk about this movie, and most of the time this film is lower on their top 10 Alfred Hitchcock list. This is underrated gem, and I don't need to explain it a lot in detail. I just want you guys to see this movie because it's underrated, it's underappreciated, and it's a wonderful film that just floored me. It floored me how exciting, intriguing, and it's beautifully shot and beautifully directed. I just love how the film ends. It's so good. So the rest of the film Noir movies are released by Criterion Collection. I have a good stack amount of it. It's just so happened that some of the films that in my stack are released by Criterion Collection. So I thought that was funny. So since when month of November, you can take this as recommendation during the Criterion sale. The Night of the Hunter, directed by Charles Lawton, the only film that he directed it. This is sad because this is a fantastic film. Spoiler alert. But Robert Mitchum, what a performance! Everybody talk about this performance. Like it's been redundant that we all know how great this movie is. It is a fantastic movie, and like I said, this is Charles Lawton one and only film that he ever directed it, and I kind of wish we get to see more films directed by him, by Charles Lawton, but it didn't do well in the box office wise. It didn't do well, I believe, critics wise as well. So he did not end up directing a film ever again. He kept acting, which is great because he's a fantastic actor. But he's also a brilliant director, and it shows with this film because it's focused on the story and the character first, and it shows because this is about characters and a story, and the story is so creepy and eerie and just an atmosphere throughout the film. It's a kind of perfect movie to watch either November or October. You can view this as a spooky movie with a creepy performance by Robert Mitchum, but this is also a film noir because the way it was shot, the way the story plays out about this greedy man who's just trying to get something that he wants, but he couldn't get his way. It's just a fantastic film that I wish Charles Lawton directed more films after this because imagine today he would have a filmography that he directed it, and he would have been another great director, but sadly that's not the case with this because he only directed this film. This is a great Blu-ray release because there's a second disc about the making of this movie that is so brilliant and wonderful and very very informative. It's wonderful. That's what I'm to say. But the film is so worth it. It's fantastic. I love this film. It's a great black and white film, beautifully directed by Charles Lawton. Please check this one out. Diabolique, directed by Henry George Clouzot. Fantastic. This is a film that is kind of like a Hitchcock film. A Hitchcock film that is not directed by Hitchcock. I have seen other Henry George Clouzot film that's The Wages of Fear. I would love to check out Le Corbeau, I believe, The Crow. Just came out in Criterion Collection. It literally came out in the Criterion Collection Blu release, which I would like to get. This is fantastic. Really great story. Very atmospheric and eerie film. Another film you can watch during the month of October or November. It's perfect for that. It's great. Everything about this movie is fantastic and something that's edge of my seat. This film had my edge of my seat because how the story plays out. It's fantastic. I don't want to get into much detail because I don't want to be spoilery. Because this is the type of film that you want to go see blind and cold and knowing nothing about this movie. Only the cover. The cover is so intriguing enough that you have to check this out. Like, this cover is excellent. Love this movie. I saw it twice. It's never get old. It's just so good. It's so good. Detour. Oh, what an underrated gem that nobody talks about this movie. This is a 60 minutes. Yeah, 69 minutes. It's a very fast-paced, breezy film to watch. It's a film that I did not expect what it was when I went and watched this movie for the first time. I thought it was going to be a road trip movie, but it became more of a road trip movie. That's all I'm going to say because it's a fantastic movie. There's so much going on. It's wonderful that it's so good. It's just so good. This is amongst my favorite films in the Criterion Collection. It's just so good. It's just simply so good. Please check this one out. In a Lonely Place, directed by Nicholas Way and starring Humphrey Bogart. So good. So good. Without a doubt. The best thing about this movie is the performance by Humphrey Bogart. Really creepy performance. There's one scene that he was reciting, reenacting a particular thing that happened in the movie. He's a screenwriter, so he's like very well versed in the details. He knows the details really extremely well. That scene that I mentioned just is still in my mind alone. That's one of the best parts of the movie when he's reenacting something that he explained to his friend, and it's amazing and such a beautiful made film directed by Nicholas Way. This was my very first introduction to Nicholas Way as a filmmaker, and then later on I checked out Bigger Than Life and Johnny Guitar. I would love to check out more of his filmography. This is fantastic. I mean, not only the performance and action, like I said, by Humphrey Bogart, but the story is great. And take place in Hollywood, and he's a screenwriter, and it's so perfect. The mood, the environment, the way it was shot, is just so perfect, executed. It's a wonderful film. Really loved it. Lastly but not least, I saved the best for last. Another film directed by Billy Wilder, that is Double Indemnity. This cover alone is a very film noir, and it is a film noir. It is wonderful. The screenplay is so fast-paced and so quick and so good that it kept my attention, wide open to this movie and paying attention to the story that it plays out and how it ends with the film. I also love how the film starts too. It's fantastic because it's focused on the characters and the story more than ever. That's what this whole film is. It's a character-driven film. This film has secrecy, trust, betrayal, a lot of things going on in this movie that just kept my interest going. Yeah, I want to know how to end. I want to know what's gonna happen in the film. It's fantastic. Billy Wilder, once again, like I mentioned, is a fantastic filmmaker who understands story and how to tell a great story. He screenwrote this film too, and it's there. It has everything what you wanted to go with this movie. Brilliant direction, brilliant cinematography, brilliant performances. Like everything about this movie is it checks all the boxes. It's fantastic, and it's just a great movie to watch. If you want to get into film noir for the first time, I think Double Indemnity is a perfect way to introduce the world of film noir. There are others that is, great to watch, like Detour or Sunset Boulevard, or even some of the Orson Welles movies, even though I have not seen Touch of Evil or The Strangers, any of the Orson Welles movies, but I've seen some that kind of like Citizen Kane and all that, but I have not seen some of his film noir, that's what I'm trying to say. This is Billy Wilder, best movie, of course, but I gotta admit, The Apartment is still my favorite, my number one favorite, but this is in top 5 for sure. Love this movie, and I really thoroughly enjoy this. It's fantastic. It's like you're watching like a stage play. That's how I feel watching this movie, because there's a lot going on. It's fast moving. Like you have to pay attention. Yeah, it's fantastic. There you have it, guys. Those are my favorite film noir movies that I love that you should check out. You can take this as a recommendation, but I want to share some of my favorite film noir since we're on November, aka Noirvember. Yeah. Have a good one. Take care. Let's try again. Let's try again.